I'm Celisse, and I'm here in LA at Gibson Showroom, and I am here to talk to you about how to sing and play guitar at the same time. Yes, it can be challenging, but you too can do it, and I know it because I can do it, and it just took practice. The first thing I think we should talk about, I think is one of, if not the most important things in music, is rhythm. Rhythm is the connecting fabric of everything. It's the reason why you hear a song that you love and you start dancing in your seat. It's what gets our bodies to move. It's what gets our hearts to move, I think. And it's a great way, it's a great foundational piece to start to think about and wanting to do two things at once. So I thought we would look at Proud Mary as a song to kind of experiment with this stuff with, as it's just a song that we all know, we all pretty much know, I think. And it's pretty simple. So it's in C, left a good job in the city, working for a man every night and day, same chord still, but I never lost a minute of sleep and worried about the way that things might have been. G, big wheel keep on turning, A minor, Proud Mary keep on, F major burning, back to C, and we're rolling, rolling, rolling on a river, right? So the first thing I would do if I were trying to learn how to play that song and I'm thinking, okay, at some point I want to be able to play guitar and sing by myself, how do I start? I would turn the record on, turn that song on, and the tempo at the top is this, right? And I would literally, sort of mute the strings and just start to chunk along rhythmically. So I'm going, left a good job in the city, while we're listening to it, right? And it could seem like, well, why am I doing this? Well, it's super important to do because, again, it's the rhythm that is going to keep us chugging along. And if you can play the chords, if I can go, left a good job in the city and I know how to do this, but then when it comes to the rhythm, I'm just like, left a good job in the, you've lost us, right? This is the foundation of the thing. So I would listen to the song and play along, just chunking along. Once you've done that and you feel like, okay, I feel like I can, for all of the whatever 4 or 5 minutes maybe the song is, I can kind of keep in time. The next thing I would do, I would maybe play the changes, maybe literally just the downbeats of each bar or phrase. You don't have to be sort of religious about this, but just think about it, right? So if I put the song on again and I'm chucking along, at the beginning of the verse I go, left a good job in the city, working for a man every night and day, but I never lost, you know what I mean? And again, it's just sort of getting yourself into the habit of staying in tempo. You're clocking where the chord changes and stuff are, but the rhythm is the most important thing. I mean, the truth is, I could do this literally for minutes and minutes and minutes. And if I was playing it in front of an audience, people would be along with me because of the chunka, 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 I would say the next thing to really think about conceptually, I guess, here's a question, maybe it's something to consider. What do you think sounds more interesting? Or this? Bass, and I'm going to tell you why I think it might sound more interesting, because it's rhythmic, it's simple, you're not listening to the same sort of like, the chord changes can be great, but I think sometimes too we can overcomplicate if it's like, well, these are the chords technically that are happening, I've got to play every single note and every single chord. Sometimes it can make too much going on between the instrument and the voice. But I like to think, especially when I'm playing solo guitar, I like to think like I'm the bass player, because that's really the thing, right? And if you've got both things going on, sort of like a chunka, or even I use my foot a lot of the times to keep time. If I'm doing this and I'm going, drums and bass. they're simple, but they're not easy necessarily. But because they are simple, they are the kinds of things that you can work on. I would highly, highly, highly recommend a metronome as well. Depending on what beats per minute we're at, you'll see BPM, that's what that means. Let's say if the song is, I don't know, let's say it's 100 beats per minute. I have no idea what it is, but let's say that it is right now. Maybe start practicing at 80 at a slower tempo. You know what I mean? And just see if you can stay with that click. It's this really, 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 really important thing. I think so. Then once you've gotten to the point where you're like, I feel super good about being able to play the chord changes when I want to, being able to hold on to the bass line and sort of doing that kind of thing, and really just sort of hook onto the rhythm. Now, what do I do about my voice? The next most important thing, especially when you're singing and playing at the same time, I think, is knowing your lyrics. Because there's nothing worse than the amount of sort of brain power I think it takes, especially in the beginning when you're learning how to do this, to figure out how to really focus on like, okay, if I'm staying in time and I'm playing this, okay, this is great. And if I don't know the words, then it's easy to all of a sudden lose what's going on here, because then I have to try to think about something else. But if I've made the lyrics already sort of like second nature, like they're really natural because I know the song so well, then the two really start to feel organic, right? So that's what I would say, especially in the beginning. Pick a song that's super easy, that maybe has 3-4 chord changes, and a song maybe you already know. Maybe it's a song you sing along to already, and you know the lyrics by heart. So the instrument side that you're adding in is kind of secondary to knowing that you know this song, right? And then once you're able to sort of combine those two things, I think you'll find once you get sort of the rhythm of a song into your body, that's kind of it. That's like the majority of the work, you know what I mean? So I would say, if you've got to the place where you're like, I feel really good about my rhythm, and I feel really great about the lyrics, and I just want to know, like, is there anything else to sort of think about in terms of just the logistics of singing and playing at the same time? And I would say the last most important thing, maybe even more important than the first two things I said, is to be joyful. Because I feel like I've been to many open mics or performances of people who are like, I'm just starting out, or I bought a guitar 6 months ago and I'm playing for the first time. And the difference between somebody who gets up on stage or gets into a space and is tentative and is like, well, I don't know, I guess just listen to this song. It's like, even if you're killing, even if your voice is incredible and your playing is incredible, we don't really sort of get to experience that because we're experiencing sort of your hesitation and your insecurity, as opposed to someone who maybe they're not even the best singer, or they're maybe not the best player. I know that you guys have all experienced this, where if you sort of look at sort of individual talents, if you go, well, it's not that he or she is the best player, or he or she is like the most amazing singer, but there's something about them. I can guarantee you a large part of that is confidence, is the commitment to doing the thing, right? So I don't know. I think if you can focus on rhythm, if you can really, really commit lyrics to heart, and you can try to commit to, if you decide to perform this, if it's in front of thousands of people, if it's in front of your dog or your cat, to do it with a level of confidence and a level of joy. I think those would be like the most important things, I think, when it comes to learning how to sing and play guitar at the same time. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.